pop or drop for this week's episode of SmackDown Pops Good, Drops Bag. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction. Let's cheers and let's talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, let's talk about an interesting SmackDown, I guess. So,
Show starts with a video package from last week's ending of SmackDown, the betrayal of Cody Rhodes by AJ Styles. Great video package, but then it cuts to Cody Rhodes. He's just walking in the back as, you know, like a old SmackDown versus Raw days almost of the guys pacing in the back, like in the parking garage. And he's wearing, by the way, he's wearing a shirt that says the Louisville Nightmare.
mm-hmm.
So they're doing that now with shirts, and
Mm-hmm.
I gotta admit, I want a Kansas City Nightmare shirt. Anyway.
I think we missed our chance.
Yeah, we missed our chance. So it's SmackDown from Louisville, Kentucky. The show starts off with big stuff. Bloodline walks out. Solo Sikoa, it was rumored before the show that he was going to anoint Tonga Loa. I had to make sure I got the right T right. Tonga Loa officially to the Bloodline. So they all come out. The Bloodline are dressed in suits, in black suits, all black. Solo, Tama, and Tonga are all in black suits. Heyman is repping his normal blue, nice suit per usual. They walk into the ring, and Solo and Heyman both grab a mic. Solo looks at Heyman, says something, can't hear it. And Heyman goes, you know what? It's a part of my duties as the wise men to set the tone straight. And he says, Solo has now declared that tonight's anointment will be a double proclamation. He says that Tama Tonga will now be referred to as Tama Tonga, the right-hand man. And Tonga Loa will now be officially introduced as the infamous Tonga Loa. He would then try to just end right there. He'd say, okay, and that's what we came here to do, so thank you and good night. But Solo turned to him and immediately was like, no. And that's when Solo puts the mic up to his mouth and says, I want you to do one more thing. You should acknowledge and thank Tama and Tonga for last week, because Kevin Owens would have killed you in the ring if they weren't there. And Heyman, one by one, looks at them and slowly and regrettingly calls them by their new anointed names. So he calls Tama by the right-hand man and Tonga by the infamous, and he apologizes. And Tama Tonga even kind of takes his mic for a second and says, good, thank you for, you better apologize because we could have let him kill you last week. As this was going on, Kevin Owens then comes out to the ring, and he is doing what his shirt says, fight Kevin's fight, or whatever it says now.
Fight, yeah.
He immediately just runs to the ring looking for a fight. He starts fighting 3-on-1, very smart.
Yeah.
Obviously, he starts to get his ass whipped a little bit, but Street Profits come out. Everybody's fighting, and that's the end of the segment. It does. I will include this into our pop or drop part of this, but after the commercial break, it pans real quick to the back. Paul Heyman's walking out, and Solo's like, what are you doing? Are you leaving? He's like, yeah, I thought we were done for the night. And Solo's like, no. You go to Nick Aldis right now. You demand that we want a 6-way tag match tonight, us against Kevin Owens and Street Profits, or else Tama Tonga is going to turn the main event into it basically kicking her ass in the locker room. Paul Heyman says, okay, I'll get it done. That's the whole beginning segment. It was sort of a lot. It was good, though. I'll pop it. Bloodline needs some of this. Excuse me. Bloodline needs some of this. Their story's a little bland, so you got to give them time to let their story cook. This gave them time. Pop.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pop it as well. I agree that the storyline's been kind of bland. Not a whole lot of character development either. It's just kind of been, well, these guys are crazy. Yep. You give them, I guess, a little bit of character development with the new nicknames. Even though I don't like the infamous. I think that's a stupid nickname. Right hand man is okay, I guess. I will say I don't know. I thought Solo did a better job this week, but I don't know if I would be as into the storyline if it wasn't for Heyman, as we talked about before. He's doing some of his.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's doing some of the best work, and he's kind of carrying this right now, which he's gonna have to until Roman comes back.
And he did the thing again where the crowd this entire time was obviously chanting, "We want Roman." Mm-hmm. And he did the thing where he almost tears up as they start yelling it again, and he kind of like bites his hand, and he, But yeah, the nicknames were a little weird. The right hand man had significance because Solo was the right hand man in the original Bloodline. So it's like Solo, without saying it, is calling himself the new tribal chief. It's kind of what that's doing.
Yeah.
But as much as I liked it and as much as we popped it, it is without question that, man, we need Roman back, man. Whether that be before SummerSlam, at SummerSlam, they're hanging on to this Bloodline thing by, you know, the shoelaces at this point.
Yeah, and I guess we talked about the Roman Solo match at SummerSlam being like, is that too soon? Blah, 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 blah. But I think it's too soon for that particular match, but like you have to inject Roman in somehow, some way, because it's really losing some steam. And for it to take up as much of the show as it does, it kind of just lets the air out of the show as a whole.
Yeah. They just this Bloodline just flat out lacks the aura of when Roman's music used to hit and they'd walk out slowly to the ring. You know, everybody in the world was ready to see just what the Bloodline was going to do next. Now it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is still going on. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, and people are saying, oh, it's different. It's different. It feels different. Like it's supposed to feel different, but I feel like it's almost getting to the point now where it's like it's different because people don't care.
Yeah, agreed. Anyway, we move on. Your tag champions make their way out to the ring. Women's tag champs, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. But as they're coming to the ring, we cut to a previously in the night video backstage with Nick Aldis, and basically Indy Hartwell is with Candice LeRae, and Candice is like, "Why did you call this match with Jade? She was put into a bad spot, and Indy is not ready for this without me." And Nick Aldis is basically like, okay, well, you're here, Indy's here, then let's just turn this into a tag team match. So he declares this is now a tag team match. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Indy and Candice LeRae. And literally, the bell sounds and Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, they all enter. Alba Fire and Dawn from the crowd. Shayna and Zoe just walk down the ramp. So it's like, okay, effery is absolutely due.
Yep.
Bianca did most of the heavy lifting this match for this team, and good lord, she's incredible. It just, every time I see Bianca, it's just like, okay, this is one of one almost. They're working over basically their hot tag and Jade the entire match. She got the hot tag, did her 10 moves of doom kinda, which is great. I'm not hating on them, but that's kind of what she does at this point. She gets the hot tag. She looks strong. She did like a military press to Candice LeRae and threw her at Indy. Crazy good stuff here. Anyway, the match kind of goes as you would assume. Bianca and Jade get the upper hand. Indy and Candice do, they get a little bit of offense here and there, but it's really just like to halt the momentum for half a second. Yeah. They end up getting Jade and Bianca end up getting that cool finisher that still doesn't have a name, where Bianca DDTs the opponent and then boot kicks her up into a German suplex from Jade Cargill. And as they're going for the pin, 1, 2, everybody runs into the ring, starts beating everybody up. Alba and Dawn attack Belair. Shayna and Zoe attack Jade, and they split them kinda. So you have the team of Shayna and Zoe over here beating up on Belair, and Alba Fire and Dawn beating up on Jade. Split up. They kill them, go outside the ring, but then each tag team gets one half of the belts. So you have Zoe Stark holding up one belt, and then you have Isla Dawn holding up the other belt, and now they're looking at each other like, oh, we're enemies now. They start fighting. And they start fighting. That gives Jade and Bianca time to get back up. They get into the ring, and Jade and Bianca get the last word here. Yep. They do their finishers at the same time, the KOD and the Jade something. It has her name in it.
I don't remember what they call it. It's the Glam Slam.
Yeah, it was the Glam Slam. But
that's what I'm going to call it still.
Yeah, it's the Glam Slam. Anyway, even after all the effery, Jade and Bianca stand up top, holding the belts. They look great. In terms of a pop or drop, this is tough.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's tough.
Well, because we sit here and we talk every week about how there's absolutely no tag division for the women's tag team belts, and now, there are 3 other tag teams involved in this right now. Yeah. So it's like there's officially some sort of a division, so that's good in terms of if you want these belts to thrive. But the actual what's happening in the ring is a little
Mhm.
So you know what? I'll give it both. I'll give it a pop because there's now an actual women's tag division, and I'll give it a drop because it was all just a bunch of nonsense.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm giving it a drop. I understand we wanted to build the women's tag division up, and we've talked a little bit about in the past how you kind of book yourself in a corner because none of these teams are realistically. I mean, they're just not going to beat them. It's just a matter of time of when they want to break them up.
Yeah.
The after match stuff, I guess I liked it how one person from each team held a belt up. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. The triple threat tag team match thing at Clash, I hate that.
We might as well include that here. Yeah. So later in the night, Bianca and Jade come out of Nick Aldis's office, and Byron Saxton's there, ready for an interview, and he says basically what were you doing in there? And they said that they wanted, or Jade talked the entire time, and they said that they set up a match, a triple threat tag team championship match. Jay and Bianca, Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler. So it's official for Clash.
Yeah, and I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of where I'm at. I guess I'm confused. I mean, I guess you need a team to take bumps, and that's what Indy and Candice LeRae do. But it's like, why weren't they included? Like they're included just to be like the feeders as well, and then it's just like, oh well, these teams want shots, but you're on TV, but you don't get a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. Why didn't they just make it a fatal 4-way?
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
at that point, yeah.
might as well.
One quick in note: what kind of, even if they're building up a women's tag division, honestly, one of the problems is Jade and Bianca are so freaking ridiculous that it doesn't feel like any of these people actually have any little bit of a chance.
No,
Which you need in a little bit in a title, in a rivalry. So that kind of takes away from it.
yeah. There's no, like you said, they're so head and shoulders above everybody else. There's not really a other standout team, or really, even if you break down the teams,
There may be one later, as we allude to in a bit.
kind of almost not even like a singular standout person in a sense.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this person might be weak on this team, but they've got blah, blah, blah to make up for it. And it's like, that's just not the case.
Yeah. Anyway, we moved on. Cody Rhodes is still mad backstage. He's just pacing. I'm waiting.
He's still standing there, yeah.
And Nick Aldis finally comes out and he's like, dude, you can't just, like, he mentions, he's like, for liability's sake for the company, you can't just stand in the parking lot and get ready to beat somebody up as they're coming into work. And Cody's like, don't worry, Nick, I totally understand, but somebody's gonna get hurt tonight and it's not gonna be me. That's all he says. Anyway, Cedric Alexander is in backstage getting ready for an interview because he has previewed tonight a match against Angel Garza.
Not Cedric Alexander. What's his name?
Yeah, Cedric.
I thought it was Apollo Crews.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, Apollo Crews. Man, that's close though.
Pretty much the same guy.
Yeah,
They
really is.
They both just
No, it's not Apollo. I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway, doesn't matter because the match doesn't happen because Angel Garza and the rest of the Fantasmo group just beat the shit out of him real quick. And it literally goes that fast, and it cancels the match they have tonight. It's literally a nothing burger. I don't know, man. Yeah, but
that shows how much we paid attention to this. That we don't.
It shows you how much WWE paid attention to this. Yeah. But good things happen here because Nick Aldis is like, "Oh my God, he's hurt. Get him some medical attention." And then the camera pans a little bit left, and LA Knight walks into the camera, and he's still looking for Logan Paul. He's like, "All right, Nick, he wasn't here last week. Where is he? Tell me where he is." And Nick's like, actually, he's in LA playing Tetris because Logan Paul in real life is doing a Tetris tournament this weekend, and LA Knight's like, I'll show him a game. I am the game. I'll show him a game where I put my foot in his ass. Blah 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 blah. And then Carmelo Hayes walks in because this has been a ongoing thing for a few weeks, and Carmelo Hayes says he's been cooking LA Knight for a few weeks, which I mean, absolutely opposite. And Nick Aldis is basically like, okay, this has been happening for a few weeks, guys. Cedric Alexander / Apollo Crews / Shelton Benjamin. I don't know who he is.
I don't remember who it was.
He's hurt now. We have an open spot on the card. Do you guys just want to go ahead and finish this? And they're like, you know what? Yes. So we moved on to not that match. Johnny Gargano is already in the ring. He's with Tommaso Ciampa, and he's scheduled to take on one half of the men's tag team champions on SmackDown, Grayson Waller, who's out there with Austin Theory. And this match was phenomenal. I liked it a lot. Gargano and Waller had a rivalry in NXT that commentary alluded to many times. Waller did this thing where he showed up at Gargano's house and like attacked him in front of his wife and kid, which was good. Anyway, they work stiff. They work stiff here. Johnny Wrestling became Johnny Wrestling. He did like a tornado. It was nobody, even Corey Graves didn't even know what to call it, but he did this thing where he like did a tornado he pushed off the turnbuckle to do like a tornado, like, I don't even know what it was because I don't know what it was because Corey Graves didn't even know what it was. So he didn't even know how to call it. So anyway, it was sick. But a bunch of stiff chops between the both of them. Grayson Waller, he has a bag, man. This dude is legit. Back and forth match until Gargano does that Hurricane Rana thing, and Grayson rolls out of the ring, and Johnny Gargano is like, I'm Johnny Gargano. I'm going to do a suicide dive. Mm-hmm. And so he bounces off the rope, comes running, goes for the suicide dive, and Grayson Waller pulls his teammate, his comrade, his fellow champion, Austin Theory, into his place as a shield to take the bump. And smart move that Gargano is shocked, commentary is shocked, and Gargano's like, what the hell? And he gets back into the ring, leading Grayson to hit his finisher. What is it called? He didn't do the roll up one where he rolls up and did it. It was like
I wish he did that one instead.
Yeah, that one's cool.
I like that one.
But he did like the where he flips over their head.
It's like a face buster.
Yeah, it's a face buster.
It reminds me of that John Cena move.
Yeah.
Remember when Cena did it like when he first?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Anyway, hit him with a finish. 1, 2, 3. Grayson Waller gets the win here as he's posing on the top turnbuckle. It cuts to Austin Theory. He's on the outside holding his neck, looking up, kind of angry and betrayed, it looks like. So we're gonna get a Austin Theory and Morgan Wallen and a Grayson Waller feud at some point, I guess. This match was phenomenal. So I'm gonna give this one also 2 ups or one pop and 2 and a drop. 1 pop because the match was great. 1 drop because they literally haven't had a tag team title match yet. Why are we splitting up this great tag team?
Yeah, I'm going to. I'll just give it all a pop.
Okay.
Thought the match was good. I understand what you mean from the storyline of these guys are tag champs and they haven't defended the belts. I guess if Theory was a real friend, a real champion, a real brother to Waller, he wouldn't be upset. He would just be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you did what you had to do. You got the win. You went out on top.
That's back-to-back weeks, though, of him betraying the boy.
You know.
He was shit-talking last
week. Sometimes somebody's got to sacrifice, you know. So we'll go ahead. We'll give it to them. I thought it was a good match. I don't really know when the end game happens. Like, obviously, we know what's going to happen, but I don't know how far you drag this out.
They don't have a match at Clash, do they? They don't have a DIY versus a Clash, so it's not like we're going to get at Clash a title belt drop from some sort of dispute in the middle of the ring.
Yeah. Maybe it's a random episode of SmackDown, but I don't know. I'm kind of over just the whole tag team division, so it's just like it's the same stuff every week.
And it feels like Gargano and Ciampa should be some extremely over tag team of the future, but that DIY gimmick is awful.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the last 2 weeks, we've seen Ciampa in a singles match and Gargano in a singles match, and they've reminded that they're great singles competitors, but like they need to recreate themselves in form of a gimmick for me to actually care about their tag team wrestling.
Yeah, and they're a good tag team, but yeah, just being new DX, but like
weird.
You're also not DX because you don't do anything funny and your faces.
They're probably in the realm for many people in the realm of being top 5 NXT talents ever.
Yeah.
Like obviously you have your Rollins and people who have made it big time now, but like in terms of them carrying the NXT for a
like
solid
the black
amount,
and gold.
Yeah, NXT, for like they had storylines that were huge.
Yep.
Like they have good gimmicks, just put those together and say that we've gotten over our differences and we're just a badass tag team now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just weird because, like I said,
Yeah.
they're DX, but they're DX without funny stuff and their faces. And
Same, but different.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. Anyway, we move on. Nick Aldis is now back again with a pacing Cody Rhodes. He's probably on pace number 4,000 at this point because we're about 6. Yeah, his all of his rings are closed on his Apple Watch, but he's pissed. And Nick Aldis now brings security. He brings about 5 security guards. He's like, "Look, it's a liability, bro. I'm putting security guards here so you don't do anything stupid." And right on cue, OC and AJ's they're in like a big old Escalade or something, and AJ's at the top, like, what are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? And they're talking shit in the car, and Gallows and Anderson get out and are like, they're stepping up, but then security breaks him up, and Cody immediately does not try to take on security. He's just like turns around and goes to the ring, and they do the
and
thing.
he weirdly huff and puffs and walks away.
You see the steam coming from his eyes, like Tom and Jerry. He's like all red with the steam. But yeah, I mean, and they do the camera cut, which is great. They do the no camera cut. They just follow him all the way to the ring. No woe for the Louisville crowd.
Nope.
No woe for them.
Not good enough.
Just walks direct. He got the Louisville Nightmare shirt. No woe.
You get the shirt. No woe.
No woe. Shirt. No woe. He gets in the ring, gets the mic, and he basically says, "Get your ass out here, AJ Styles. We don't need the security. Let's settle this like men." And somehow they got out of the car. I mean, the security must have just stepped away when Cody Rhodes walked away and let AJ.
Everything's fine.
AJ parked real quick. They got out of the car.
They picture it backstage, like Cody just walks and the camera's there, and then AJ's right behind the camera. We'll just slow down a little bit here.
Anyway, he comes out with the OC, so we're officially back to AJ with the OC, which is fine. I like that stuff. And AJ gets the mic and he's like, "Hey, I don't need to do what you tell me." He's like, "You think I'm going to give you what you want? You think I'm just going to run in the ring for no reason and just risk myself getting injured?" And Cody's like, "Yeah." and then AJ does the whole Batista thing. "Give me what I want. Give me what I want. I want a WWE championship match at Clash at the Castle." And Cody Rhodes is like, "Well, you know what? Fine, I'll give you that match." And everybody's like, "Oh, really? It was that simple?"
Yeah.
But then he says, "But wait, AJ," and he says, "You look at me in my goddamn face." That's what he says, or eyes. He goes, I'm gonna make you say what you should have said last week. I quit." So we're getting an I quit match next Saturday at Clash of the Castle. This whole segment, you know what? It wasn't a Cody dressed up in a suit, smiling and kissing babies. Pop.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong there. It was a way to progress the storyline, which is good.
Yeah.
So I guess from that aspect, I was happy about it. Like you said, it's not just the generic "my dad's Dusty Rhodes" type thing. I guess I'm confused though. I gotta give it a pop or a drop. I guess I will drop it.
Oh,
just for the stipulation on the match at Clash. I used to think that I quit matches, stipulation matches like that, oh, you got to make the other person say I quit. Well, those usually come into play when it's 1 versus 1, each person's 1-1 and it's a rubber match and let's fight it out. I understand AJ attacks Cody.
I'm not. So, side note here.
First side tangent of the episode.
Well, after Mania 39, Brock Lesnar comes out, hits Cody Rhodes with the F5, just like John Cena after he lost to Rocket Mania years ago. Yeah. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's copying the storyline with John." And then at 40, he gets his main event title match rematch, just like John did against Rock. But now, and so that whole story ends up kind of like John Cena and The Rock. By the way, this was basically the same exact thing that happened when JBL fought John Cena at Judgment Day back in 2006 in his first I Quit match. They had security holding John Cena back before WrestleMania. And there was a stipulation where John couldn't touch JBL with security. It felt very much like that. And it's when he said, "I want the I Quit match," I was like, okay, wipe my eyes off. Was that Cena?
Yeah. And I guess
I know the I Quit match is not John Cena's, but in WWE.
Yeah. And I understand that wrestling's always they just always rehash storylines and somehow make it a little bit different. I am a Cody Rhodes fan, as you can tell by the shirt, but it's just like, maybe I'm just getting burnt out. It's just like too over the top for me right now. So it was nice to see like a little bit of that blurred, like you said, but it's also just like, now you're just over the top babyface again, just with a tweak.
Yeah.
And the I Quit match is just like, okay, so what? AJ's gonna say he quits, and then what? You know?
That's for another show, but I don't think either of them say I quit.
Mm-hmm.
We then move on. LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes finally get their match, and this was good stuff. LA Knight, we've been critical of his in-ring work, and Carmelo Hayes is one of those guys who can make anybody look good, but LA Knight worked stiff. Carmelo Hayes got his acrobatics off. He was jumping around the place. LA Knight was taking bumps for him. Carmelo Hayes was taking bumps for LA Knight. Both their bags looked good. LA Knight didn't try to go too far out of his realm and do anything to match the acrobatics, which is good because I think sometimes he tries to match the other guy's style, and that's where he slips and kind of looks like eh. But it ends with him going for the BFT, his finishing move that still needs a rework. But he goes for the BFT. Carmelo Hayes reverses it into a roll-up that LA Knight reverses into a roll-up.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
He got the yellow bar on the...
He did. He got the yellow bar on 2K, and he got his own roll-up. 1, 2, 3. LA Knight gets a win here, but it also kind of implies that maybe down the road we do this again because it wasn't like a, I beat you. Overall, good pop here. After quick sidebar after the match, LA Knight grabbed a mic, was going crazy, and he said, Logan Paul, if you're not going to come to SmackDown, then I'm going to bring SmackDown to you. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Did you give it a pop?
Oh,
I assume?
Yeah, I'm popping that.
I'm going to give this a pop as well. And good to see just another good match for nothing really. I mean, there's bragging rights a little bit. They've kind of planted seeds for the rivalry. Carmelo, it's good. I liked Carmelo. It's a chance to get him off the mic right now, which is kind of his weaker point.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He's not him on the mat, on the mic.
No, not at
Love
all.
him in the ring, though. God
and LA obviously gets some reps in for when he fights Logan. Overall, good match. Like you said, you protect him. It's a roll up. It's nothing crazy.
I'm predicting that today is actually the Tetris event. You know damn well LA Knight's showing up to the Tetris event and they're doing something there.
Yeah.
He's actually in a Tetris event, so he's going to compete in it. But I'm talking like before or after some sort of interaction, I think.
Got to be after or something. Yeah. Let him compete first. And wouldn't it be wild? He wins the Tetris event and LA just goes and breaks the trophy or something.
That'd be sick.
That'd be amazing.
He has to win the event first. Tetris is tough.
Yeah.
One little thing that happened, I'm not going to go too far into it, but we mentioned earlier how there's not a tag team that looks like they could challenge Jade and Bianca. But Tiffy Stratton, she sees Nia Jax backstage. And she walks up to her and she goes, Nia. Basically, I love you. I'm not here to get on your nerves at all. She goes, I just want you to think about this. Just think about this. A tag team, the princess of the ring and the queen of the ring on a tag team. Not going to say anything else. I just want you to think about it. She walks away. That could be good stuff. That would be good stuff. That would be a tag team that I would look at when they fight Jade and Bianca. Look, Jade and Bianca could still beat anybody, but like there's people in the ring that I'm like, eyes are now on it. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it'd be a way to build something up for sure. I know outside of the ring, they're both pretty good friends, so they've got that chemistry going a little bit. It's a nice combo of power and athleticism and speed. And yeah, like you said, Jade and Bianca have all of that, but sign me up. You have somebody who's the legit Queen of the Ring winner and Tiffany, who's one of the up and comers. So
also Mishin attacked Nia after the match. I don't care.
And Nia slipped on the water that she threw on her twice.
Then your women's champion made her way to the ring.
Your women's champion.
Your women's champion, not mine.
I don't think that's accurate.
I love Bailey, but good Lord. Anyway, she comes to the ring and she's got a mic in her hand and literally says about 2 words until Piper Niven's theme hits.
Yeah, she got maybe a sentence.
I don't even know what she said. Like it could have been hello, welcome to SmackDown. I don't even know. But
ding dong.
Ding dong. Piper walks in. Piper and Chelsea Green come out. Chelsea Green has the mic per usual. And she starts calling Bailey a loser. She starts calling the crowd loser. And she like points to everything in Bailey's life about how much she's a loser, and then ends by saying, "And you will be a loser at Clash of the Castle." And Piper Niven and we become the women's champion. So
Yep.
that's leading to down the line stuff, maybe even
Mhm.
toward next Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But Bailey kind of replies by saying, "You know what? I don't even know why you're here, Chelsea. I know that you like to be the mouth behind the the brawn, basically, where Piper's the muscle and she's the mouth." And she goes, "You know what, Piper? I've been watching you since the Mae Young Classic in 2017. You're great. I think you're great for women's wrestling. I respect you as a challenger, but I don't know why you have her here." And then Piper gets the mic,
Mhm.
which I mean, I know she's Scottish, but it took me by surprise, her accent.
Just
I'm
how
here
heavy-
Bailey.
Just how
Yeah.
if anybody has watched Baby Reindeer on Netflix, it sounds like that lady.
Yeah. Anyway, Piper actually cuts a great little promo here. I was really impressed by her mic work, and now I was, and afterward, I was kind of like, why'd they give her Chelsea? But she basically says, "You sit here and say that you've been watching me since the Mae Young Classic. That was in 2017. I've been carrying women's divisions overseas in the UK, Europe, and Japan since 2007. She's like, I was the biggest star on earth before I walked into this ring, and you're gonna realize that I'm a big time champion." It was actually a really good little promo by her. So I am actually gonna give this segment an up or a pop. I'm not big on the rivalry so far as a whole, but in terms of this little segment, it made Piper feel like an actual character more than just some big old girl that comes in and power slams Bailey after Chelsea Green does some stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a pop as well. I thought she was surprisingly good on the mic. I haven't heard a lot of her promo work, admittedly. Chelsea Green, obviously, in the background with her little promo beforehand, and just how like annoying she is.
Oh, I love Chelsea.
It's just perfect.
I love Chelsea.
It was a good segment to progress the storyline. I know they didn't give Bailey like the time at the very beginning of the promo, but I found myself at the end of the segment being like, man, I'm still not interested in Bailey.
No, Bailey was the least interesting part of this whole thing.
Yeah, she was the worst part of the
She
segment.
at this point, she's literally just a mannequin holding the title, which sucks. Because I mean, you guys have seen the videos on. If you follow us on our channel, we love Bailey's great and XYZ, but I mean, it's official. She just isn't a champion. That might be a conversation.
Which now, I mean, it is interesting now because you've got the Nia Tiffany maybe tag team thing, and now you've got Piper obviously in her home country, like going for the belt. Like now, I'm actually genuinely like, okay, maybe they do take the belt.
Yeah. Move on. Little breaking news from Logan Paul. He filmed a little video in his house. He said, "I needed a real challenge, so I went to LA to to compete in Tetris." He goes, "I'm sitting here having to deal with a megastar of the WWE who's never won a title," and he called him a hillbilly Aladdin looking dude in a vest, and he said that whenever he does come back, he'll take care of LA Knight with everybody saying Logan Paul. Yeah. That's what he said. That's good stuff. I like Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I think whenever this rivalry, whenever they're really starting to set up the SummerSlam rivalry, that's gonna be good stuff. Or Money in the Bank or whatever this is. That's gonna be good stuff when they're both in the ring together. Jesus, that's gonna be money.
Yeah, and I know that he had said something along the lines of like mid card to LA Knight is like insulting him. And I saw a lot of people on social media being like, "Well, isn't Logan Paul in the mid card because like Logan Paul's above that?" You know what I mean?
His logo is the middle of the ring.
His logo's in the middle of the ring. He's a mid card champion, but he's a star.
The Grayson Waller match tonight was sponsored by Prime. Like, Logan Paul is a way bigger star than people think, and he's a big reason why the WWE is able to pursue the things that they pursue right now. He's bringing in money that they love and need. Like
yeah, absolutely. And so in terms of promo, great again. I mean, Logan's so good on the
We've
mic,
gone on and on about Logan. Get on the Logan Paul train because he's here to stay and he's phenomenal at this. I don't care if he's an outsider. Main event time. So we have Kevin Owens and the Street Profits taking on Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa, the Bloodline. I wrote down that they have no entrance aura. I mentioned that earlier, but good lord, that Bloodline entrance is just not it anymore. led by Solo. The match was sort of set up in terms of like Tama and Tonga have beef with the Street Profits, while Solo and Kevin Owens have beef with each other. A bunch of the early match was basically the Tama and Tonga, or Tama Loa, whatever their names are, Tama and Tonga were beating up on the Street Profits, mostly Montez Ford, because he's an absolute gem in the ring and taking spots and selling. He's phenomenal. The Street Profits are phenomenal, by the way. They should be champions ASAP. But they're working over Montez Ford most of the match. Oh, you don't like that? All right, we'll go on that another time. They're working over Montez Ford most of the match until eventually a hot tag happens. And when the hot tag happens to Kevin Owens, they also get Solo in the ring, so we don't have to wait for it. Solo and Kevin Owens go at it. So, or Kevin Owens immediately gets the advantage on him. He even hits a swanton. Okay, Kevin Owens swanton bomb, which probably should hurt more than Jeff Hardy because he's a pretty big dude. Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is when everything goes awry, though. People start getting thrown out of the ring. Yeah. No one knows who's legal anymore.
Refs lost all control.
Refs lost control. No count outs outside the ring either. But there's like everybody except for who's the other? Montez Ford. Angelo Dawkins is on the outside of the ring, all fighting each other. And Montez Ford comes over, jumps from the ring, jumps over the turnbuckles and does like a suicide flip, takes out everybody. Yeah. And Solo goes, I've had enough of this. He grabs a chair, smacks Montez Ford with it. Ding, ding, ding. So Kevin Owens and them win by DQ. Post-match stuff happens. Bloodline basically beats the shit out of every single one of them. And they hold up Kevin Owens. Tama and Tonga hold up Kevin Owens. Or no, they hold up Montez Ford, sorry. And they do a... Solo does the spear. He holds him up and Solo does the spear. And then they go outside and they do the shield power bomb, the 3-person power bomb to Kevin Owens. So Solo has checked off all the boxes of doing Roman's moves here. All in all, it's a pop. I mean, this is the more interesting Bloodline work that we need to see. They had a really good intro opening segment, and they established themselves as a in-ring threat at the end. That's all positive directions for this Bloodline. So pop.
Yeah, I also saw something that Roman always does, like the tongue on his, like sticks his tongue out. Solo did that as well. And Corey Graves at the end said something about head of the table. Like Corey Graves had said it. So they're obviously going to push that. I'm going to give it a drop just from the sense of this was your main event match. The match itself didn't really mean anything. You could have went out there and had those 3 attack anybody and do that at any time.
The anointment could have been the main event. And you end like this.
Yeah. And you used to have, the Shield used to go attack whoever, you know, back when they did the triple power bomb thing. So that's, a great shout out to kind of the callbacks and stuff. But overall, like you said, there's no aura right now around the Bloodline. So it's like, it's hard for me to get invested even if they are doing good work. It's just like, man, I just don't feel that connection right now. So if they can inject Roman in there in bits and pieces like they're trying to do, but have him actually show up, I feel like everybody would get back on board with it.
Yeah, as good as I thought this was, and they have now established themselves as some sort of actual threat with something to point to. Like they can go, look, that's why we're a threat. You just can't fill the hole of Roman. It's the question after Mania was, could they simulate that in any sort of way? And the answer is hard no. It's not possible. Roman was the Bloodline, and this new Bloodline's only going to hit a C+ without him. There's never going to be a moment of a B or an A-. So we miss you, Roman.
Yes.
Anyway, another pop for an episode of SmackDown. Good stuff here overall. Great episode of Raw. Good stuff on SmackDown. If you agree or disagree with us, let us know in the comments. What did you think about SmackDown and Raw this week? Also, let us know there. Follow us on all socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod, and listen to us wherever you get your podcast at. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction. We're out.